Okay, this is Jonathan Messenger making a video for Topics in Publishing Production class. Today we're going to turn a portion of How Long Will I Cry by Miles Harvey into an ebook. And there are various ways to make an ebook. You can actually export out of Word into a PDF and have a PDF ebook, or you can convert into an HTML file and convert in various formats from there. And basically what I'm going to do is show you how to make an epub file. The other easier version of all this is that there are various contractors and some software that you can buy that converts into various ebook formats. But I thought maybe this might be an interesting thing for everyone to see what is sort of like the bones of an epub file. We're using epub because that's the most common file, and that's also an open source format. So what we're going to do today is make the title page, the colophon, which has all the copyright info, and then a couple of chapters, and we're going to group that all together to make into an epub file. So just really quickly, here's something that you need to know is that basically what an epub file is an HTML or an XML file that uses something called cascading style sheets. So if you don't know what HTML is, it's hypertext markup language, and XML is basically the same as HTML, only it uses a lot of closed tags so that it it's a little bit more of a contained language, and it uses cascading style sheets, or CSS, and basically what that means is that when you make a file in XML, if you tag part of that as, say, H1, that's your header font. That's what you want your style to look like for a header font. If you tag H1 throughout a document, whatever you tag H1, that will be styled in that manner. And actually H1 is part of the various header styles. That's the cascading style sheets. So you could have H1, H2, H3, H4, and those are all variations on your header styles, and I'll show you that in a moment. And so basically what we have here is the title page unformatted in my OpenOffice. OpenOffice is the open source version of Microsoft Office, essentially. And so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to make a title page for our epub. So I'm going to show you that right now. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to style these in various manners. And so I have set this up ahead of time. These all correspond to what I want them to look like when they're styled. So if I choose the format, heading 1, I should change that to then Georgia, because everything is going to be Georgia. And then I'm going to use heading 3. I'll change that to Georgia. And then this is going to be text body. And again, Georgia. And then I'm going to want to center these. I'll probably put a return there, and maybe we'll just do a soft return there. Okay, hold on one second. Alright. Okay, there we go. There's our title page. And what we want to do is we want to go to export, and we want to export it as XHTML, and we're going to call it HLWC underscore title. I'll save that. Alright, so that's that. We have made an XML file or XHTML file of our title page. Now, what I want to show you is basically how an epub file is broken down. So I'm going to call up here. This right here is you can see this how long. This is our how long folder, and every EPUB file has basically three components: the MIME type, the meta info folder, and the OEBPS folder. And so MIME type folder, just take a quick look at this. This is all it says: application/epub.zip. It's a plain text file, and basically all it is telling the operating system of any e-reader that it can figure out exactly what kind of file this is, and what to do with it. That's it. It's just one line in there. In the meta info folder, this will contain the container XML. Let's see if we can open this with Notepad. Let's open here. And this is all it says here. And basically all the container does is it points to the location of the content. So if you see here, it says content.opf, oebps/content.opf. That's basically telling the e-reader where to find all the stuff that makes up the ebook. And all the stuff that makes up the ebook is in the OEBPS folder. So you can see it has the images, styles, that's what I'm talking about, the style sheets, text, this is where all the actual text of our file is going to, our ebook is actually going to go. And then it has these two files, the content file and the table of contents file. And basically both of those files, they are going to list everything and define the order of the files. And so we're actually going to go in and edit those in a minute. But I wanted to show you the basic structure of an EPUB document. So it's basically a folder. It has two folders in that folder. For us is called how long. There's two folders inside that folder, and then the MIME type file. So let's open this up. I'm using standard template sample ebook to make things a little easier on us. So there's nothing in the text. So what we want to do is add our cover file in there. So let's see. So we just made this. We put that in there. And now we need to make, so we've made the title page, and we need to make all the rest of our documents. So we're only going to do the first two chapters. So here's the title page. That's done. Saved. I've already formatted all of this, so you don't have to see me go through all the changing the font and the text and everything. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to export. This is the colophon page. I'm going to export that as an XML. Close. So with the footer, we're going to change that to XML. Done. And then export unanswered prayers as image. Okay, so that's basically it. We've made all of our XML files. You can see all I had to do was format it in the word processor and then export it as an XML. And now we're going to kind of get into the nuts and bolts of making the actual file here. So I have here is the content.opf file, and this is basically going to tell the e-reader exactly what is in our document. One thing we want to do, actually, before we go any further, is that we want to make sure that all of our files are named correctly. So we don't want unanswered prayers to be called unanswered prayers. We probably want to call that chapter 1. One thing to know about this is that all of these files are case sensitive, so you have to make sure that you name them correctly. And I'm actually going to just very quickly move those all in there. And while we're at it, I'm going to show you the cover image. So I downloaded this cover photo. I'm not actually going to go through and make the cover, but you've seen this photo in class, and so I took this image and I downloaded it, and you actually have to put this into the word processor and then export it. And the reason for that is that the epub is always going to be looking for the XML, so it's always going to be looking for that file to tell it where the cover is. So I'm going to save that. And then we're going to actually bring that into our folder as well. And not only does that folder have to be, that file has to be in that folder, but we need to have the image in our image folder. So we'll just quickly pull this up. Find it really quickly here. I should have probably located it before. Alright, so that's not there either. Let's do it quick. There we go. Oh, what happened? Okay. So let's move this. This cover file in here. So that's basically when the epub reads the HTML or the XML file, and it finds that there's a cover image in there, we need to make sure that that cover image actually is in the image folder. Okay. All right. Sorry for that little detour. So let's pull this up here. So the two files that are kind of most important for when we're making it are the content and the TOC file. And we're going to need to go through and edit almost everything in this content. So up here, this is just, you know, the XML information. We don't need to do anything about that. We do need to change the title of the book, so we're going to change that to How Long Will I Cry? Language, this is a standard for English, EN. Rights, we're just going to keep it at public domain right now because we're not actually going to be publishing this anywhere. Creator of file, we're going to say Miles Harvey. Publisher, we're just going to put the Paul for now. And then the book ID number is very important, this UUID. This is going to be present here as well in the content file, and these two things need to match up. And for now, we're just going to do 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so 10 ones, just to make it a little easier on us. And then the metadata and the meta name, this is, if you've done any sort of web design, you need to put metadata for keywords and searchable and that sort of thing. So we're going to put how long will I cry, Chicago youth violence, oral history. And you can put more than this, but for our purposes, this is totally fine. We need to change the name of this file to cover.jpg. This is what right here is where we're looking in the image files. So we're just naming what files are in the various folders. So we want to make sure that we have the cover image correctly identified there. Style sheet is correct. And then we're going to be naming every single item that's in our folder here, our text folder. So we have chapter 1, chapter 2 already. Our title page is not called title page, it's called HLWC_title. So we need to change that. Yeah, change it in both places. And so if you're not familiar with basic HTML coding and that sort of thing, item ID, this is sort of the name of the file that we're looking for here. And then this is the reference. It's going to refer to text, that's the folder it's referring to, and this is the file in that folder. So here's the text folder, here's the file. So we need to have one of those for each of these. So what we can do here is actually just copy and paste. And we have the colophon. So let's put that in. And then we need one more for our cover. Alright, and so all of these you can see manifest here. And this is basically listing everything that's in the document. So in our manifest, we have now listed every single file. Now in the spine is kind of funny. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's it is basically listing in order, sort of like, I guess it's not really the spine of the book, but it has all the information like the spine of a book does. So it's basically listing all of the files in order. So we're actually going to put one above, and then we're going to put one below. And this is going to be our cover, and this is going to be our colophon. So this is basically telling the program or the e-reader in what order to put all of these files. And save. And we're basically done with our content folder, and then we're going to go into this is the table of contents. Now it's important to note that this is not the table of contents. If you were reading an e-reader, this is not the table of contents page. This is actually what excuse me, what the e-reader uses for table of contents. So the first thing that we need to do is that we need to make sure that our UID here that we mentioned before matches up. So that these things are exactly the same. And our document title is going to be How Long Will I Cry? And then this is, you can see nav point. This is basically the navigational information for the EPUB. So Actually, the first thing we're going to do is call this the cover, and that's going to be our cover. So this is going to be the first thing that we see is going to be the cover. The second thing that we want to see is title. Next is going to be our colophon, or the copyright page. Sometimes people call it the copyright. Most people call it the copyright page, but I mean, why call it that when it's a cool word like colophon? And then these are actually going to be correct, but we're going to name them as we want them. Unanswered prayers, and then the girl was a fighter. All right. So now we've basically made our EPUB at this point. So we have all of our documents. So we have our cover, we have our title page, our copyright page, and our 2 chapters. Our style sheets, we're not going to mess with. Images has our cover image. We have our content, which we just did, and our table of contents, which we just did. And so now we're basically done. And if I can show you this, here's our how long folder. What we want to do is we want to zip it. And let's see, where did that go? Okay, so here it is. And we're going to rename. Actually, I'll bring this up over here so it's a little easier for you to see. Okay. Oops. We're going to rename that How Long Will I Cry Final. And then actually what we're going to do, this is kind of a funny trick. I'm going to change it from a zip file. So I'm sorry, I guess I did that quickly, but if anybody, actually, you know what we need to do? Just to show you, I'm going to delete this just so you can see the good way to do this. We're gonna do a new folder. I'm going to call it How Long Will I Cry? And then this is kind of a funny thing, but this is how it has to be. The MIME type file has to be the first file you put into the folder, and then you can move the other stuff. I don't know exactly why that is, but that's how it is. It has to be the first thing that you put in there. And then I'm going to zip it. So I'm sure you've all compressed files before. Alright, and we're going to rename it How Long Will I Cry Final. And then we actually are going to rename it. Instead of zip, it's going to be epub. And there we have it. We have an epub file. And so what I'm going to show you now is this program, Calibre. And let me, this is Calibre, C-A-L-I-B-R-E. And I'm going to just bring it into the window here so you can see it as well. And I'm going to add a book from single directory, desktop. How Long Will I Cry file. Alright, and now I can open this up in Calibre and read it. So you can see that the cover image is not taking up the full document, and that's something that we could change very easily. I kind of expected that this would happen basically we would need to resize the photo and size it correctly to be the full size. But you can see as we go along, the title page is correct. It looked like there were some bad breaks, but that's basically just because of the size of the window. All of our text is in the font we want it to be in. So we have the header, the ital here, so it's all, even the drop caps are working properly. One thing you'll notice that I didn't mess with is that there were some footnotes, and I didn't go through and link up the footnotes correctly. That's because in order to do each footnote, you have to create its own XHTML file and link them back and forth. And just for the sake of this video, I felt like that was not practical. But yeah, here we have an EPUB, and you know, you can put this on your e-reader. You can, you know, if you have a Nook or anything like that. Like I said before, Kindle doesn't read this, so actually we can go back into Calibre, close this out. And the great thing about Calibre is I can click this, convert book, convert individually, and I can convert this into any format that I want. I'll show you. So I can convert this into any format that I want. So I can put it into Mobi. That's what's going to get it into a Kindle. So if I want to read on my Kindle, I'll have to click that, OK, and you can see the job running down here. And when that's done, that'll be a Mobi file, and I can read that on my Kindle, and I can go back and change it into any kind of format that I want. And so that's it. That's the basics of making an ebook, and it can get much more complicated, much more. You know, you can do a lot more with it. As far as the formatting goes, let me see if I have here for you. So have you ever seen a program like this? This is called Composer, and this is basically a web design software, and you can make web pages in here, and you can make ebooks in here, and you can do much more. If you were to make an ebook in here, you could do much more complicated linking and that sort of thing, and inclusion of images and all of that. I didn't go into all of that because I felt like in order to do that, I would have to show you this program if you've never seen a program like this before, and then have to go into everything. But this is this is sort of like Dreamweaver. If you've ever seen Dreamweaver, it's open source version of Dreamweaver, and so you could use something like this if you wanted to make your XML files. And that's about it. And so we can talk more about ebook design and tricks of ebook design in class and in your readings, of course. All right, thanks for watching.